At the time of Mrs. Moon's birth, the 1940s were a difficult period for the Korean people, suffering under the Japanese occupation. As the Israelites in Jerusalem under Roman rule 2,000 years ago were spiritually active, centering on John the Baptist in order to receive Messiah, the 1940s were just the same in Korea when people were intensely searching for God's way. The spiritual activities in Korea were most active in northern part of Korea. In northern Korea's eastern region of Wonsan, these activities happened centering on males, and in the western region of Chulsan, they happened centering on female. At that time, spiritual activities were proliferating in Pyongyang so much that it was called the Jerusalem of the East. Mrs. Soon A. Hong, Mrs. Moon's mother, was married to a teacher named Sung Un Hong. Their marriage was officiated by Ho Bin Yi, a spiritual leader who was leading a movement searching for God's way. The two led a very sincere life of faith. After 10 years of waiting, Mrs. Hong finally gave birth to her first child. Reverend Ho Bin Yi told Mrs. Hong about his vision before the baby was born. It was as if a graceful crane was swooping from a pine tree into her embrace. Mr. Sun Un Han also dreamt about a pair of cranes playing with each other in a green pine tree forest. It was a beautiful dream of two cranes, a symbol of peace and good fortune for the suffering Korean people. After having the dream, Mrs. Sun Un Han named her daughter Hak Ja Han. Sending her to this world with the mission of true mother is apparent when we just look at her family name, Han. Scholars say there had been a great nation even before the time of Gojoseon that was ruled by the Han clan, and that this spirit of the Hans has continued down to the current generation of Korean people, who is reflected in the name of the nation, Daehanminguk. This nation called Han predates Gojoseon by far, and Han is introduced in one of the Chinese history books called Sikyong. This Han Hu is the oldest ancestor of Korean people to be recorded. This family name of the Hans came into existence long before China. And this name is the first family name of our people, and is the oldest recorded root of our ancestry. The family of Han is also the family to produce the most number of queens, and its position in the history is firm, including Queen Wi Suk, who was the mother of Wan Gon, the first king who founded Koryo. There were 13 people chosen by heaven. Is a ray of sunlight shining upon the third Israel. There, the bride to represent earth was born. Sought by humankind for the past 6,000 years, the bride of the Lamb finally arrived. She married a man who has revealed the secrets of heaven. And now, all humankind, suffering from fallen history, greets the true parents, opening the path for humanity with her husband, Reverend Moon. Mrs. Moon, true mother, who will accomplish heaven's wish of creating God's homeland. Her life has been one of total sacrifice for God's providence, and now she conveys the message of true peace to the humanity.